And Savannah and Chatham County are no different. Lee's death could have been and should have been prevented. Our investigation into Lee's case shows that officer after officer after officer at the Chatham County Detention Center failed to make their rounds, and even recorded in the logbooks that they had been making their rounds, falsified those official records. Lee was undergoing withdrawal from drugs because, sadly, like so many people in our society, Lee had a drug problem. And Lee told the officers at the jail and the nurses for Correct Health that he had that problem and that he needed help. And they knew he needed that help. And instead of providing him with the medications that were required for his drug withdrawal, Lee did not get them. Our investigation has uncovered that only one day out of the 4 days that Lee was there did he get those medications. And sadly and grimly and grotesquely, our investigation also unveiled that at least one meal was delivered to Lee's jail cell after he was already dead. Today begins the first step in the process of holding this institution and these individuals responsible for Lee's death. Sadly, there will be no criminal prosecution in Lee's case. The charges that were brought against one officer, and only one officer, have already been dismissed. And the only way that true accountability is going to happen is through this lawsuit that we are filing today. I'm honored to be joined by Jessica Hodges, Lee's long-term partner and mother of his 2 sons, and also Lee's father, Michael Creeley. Jessica is going to give a statement, and then Michael will give a statement, and then I'll take your questions.
I'm Jessica Hodges, the mother of Lee's boys. We wake up to this nightmare every single day, and we want someone to be held accountable for him not being here.
I'm Lee's father, Michael Creeley. I find it hard to believe that somebody can be taken into custody and not be treated like a human being. I'm not the man I was before. I never thought I'd bury my son. And as Will said, there's been 17 deaths in the last 7 years. And every one of them was a father, a brother, a son, a cousin, an uncle. And there's no reason that it shouldn't stop here. There has to be some accountability. The things that are going on inside of the Chatham County Detention Center, on their surface, if you just look, you can tell that they're not accountable for what happens there and that they're not treating their inmates correctly. I don't ever want to see any mother, father, brother, sister, son go through this again. And that's my main reason for standing up for this. It's been going on so long, it has to stop now.
We'll take any questions that you may have about the lawsuit, our investigation, the criminal charges being dismissed, or things of that nature.
So the DOJ is currently suing the state of Georgia because of their prison conditions. What do you think that signals, I guess, about this specific case that the DOJ is stepping in just overall for the state of Georgia?
Well, the conditions in the Georgia Department of Corrections are also abysmal, and it speaks to the larger problem, because this is a problem that happens, sadly, in a number of different jails and prisons here in Georgia. And what you'll see is that when private healthcare providers are responsible for providing healthcare in a jail, that they put profit first. It is a feature of the contract that Correct Health has with the Chatham County Detention Center that for every dollar that they save by denying care, they make that dollar in profit. And that system is set up to reap profits all across the state on the backs of people that are incarcerated. And every single one of those dollars lands in the pocket of Carlo Musso. Carlo Musso is a doctor who has a duty under the Hippocratic Oath to first do no harm. And instead of following that oath, he follows the dollars and follows the profits, and he and his company need to be held accountable.
So are you hoping that the state will have, or I guess what safeguards would you like to see put in place to prevent deaths like these in the future?
The introduction of profit into the system is the problem. The Chatham County Commission should immediately fire Correct Health and should go back to a system where the health care is provided directly by the county and the profit motive is taken out of it. Short of that, all we can do to hold these companies accountable is to hit them where it hurts them the most, which is to sue them and sue them for money damages to try to take as much of that ill-gained profit away from them and give it to the people that have been harmed.
Do you know
How much of the responsibility actually falls on the sheriff's department? I understand there were 5 of their employees that were let go because of this. Is that the responsibility of the sheriff's department or this health care provider?
Both the sheriff's department and the health care provider failed miserably in the case of Lee Michael Creeley. The checks that were supposed to have been done every 30 minutes, the rounds that were supposed to have been completed were not done. Had those rounds been done, Lee may still be alive here today. The healthcare provider was required to check on him based off their withdrawal protocol, and they didn't do it either. Both of them failed, and both of them are responsible for Lee's death.
How long did your investigation take, and who was involved?
Our investigation took over a year. Lee died on September the 6th of 2020, and we just completed our investigation and were able to file our lawsuit. All right, if there are no other questions, then thank you for coming here today.